Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Scroll podcast brought to you by the Adventure Archive. My name is Ryan.
And I'm a bejeweled spider in her stone web.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
Really?
And with us today, we got a couple of special guests here. We got John Davis and Matt Morris. How are you guys doing today?
Hello. Doing great.
Doing well.
Yeah. So who the heck are you guys?
Who the fuck are you guys?
Yeah. Why? What brings you to our show today?
Oh, I'm some nobody. But I guess if there's folks out there who know me, they probably know me from In the Light of a Setting Sun, Wild Blue Yonder, or Helm in particular.
Yeah, and I'm just some dude who stumbled across cool old school games. 5e was all I'd ever done, and I played a lot with Little Mice and Mouse Ritter, and then I stumbled across Bastards, and the rest is history.
As we all do.
Yeah. Yeah. So talking about some of this. So today the plan is to eventually, once our ADHD allows us to get there, maybe talk about the Bastardized Classics. Prior to that, though, John, you're old news. We've had you on the show a couple of times. Once you kill us, you're officially a part of the show. But Matt, as you said before, you were a big Mouse Ritter guy for a long time. You just kind of hit the ground running with that too. I think right before stream you said you had like 40 supplements written for Mouse Ritter.
Yeah, it was a funny season. I was making proxies for Magic the Gathering, then COVID hit, and so my D&D group moved to online, and I was like, oh, I'm going to see if there's a community of stuff online. Stumbled across the OSR, then stumbled across everything else, all in early 2020. Found Mouse Ritter, and here's the honest story. I thought Mouse Ritter was cute, but it wasn't 5e, and that was all I knew. So I put it on the PDF file on my computer, and then one afternoon I was watching. I've got birds out in my backyard, and there was this little field mouse running around, and a scrub jay dive bombed the field mouse, threw it up in the air, and then proceeded to kill it. It was horrific, and I was like, "Wait, there's a game where you could be an adventure like." And I was like, I know I have a game, so I searched like mouse on my computer, and because Mouse Ritter is written in German, it didn't find it, and I was like, where is this game? And then I found it, and I was like, I need birds in Mouse Ritter, so I created a supplement in like September of 2020, and that started a very an addiction that is still very strong.
Nice.
Yeah. And that actually led to not only like I burn pile the year
Hey,
one.
Yes.
There we go. But also we have Lilliputian.
Yeah, Lilliputian. That's
there we go.
Yeah, what is it? Gulliver's Travel. He travels to the island of Lilliput where everyone's like 6 inches tall, and Isaac Williams, who wrote Mouse Ritter, has a little table, like a random table in the front, where it's like, you stumble across the Lilliputian Explorer. And I was like, yes. And I want to play Cairn, but I want him to be as tall as mice. So I'm going to make Mouse Ritter Cairn together, but it's going to be sailing. And that's Lilliputian.
Hell yeah.
So I'm using a bunch of like Cairn supplements, and I'm like, scale everything 1-to-1, 6 inches is 6 feet. Boom. And now you can run Cairn with Mouse Ritter.
There we go.
It's crazy when you use it into the odd.
Well, yeah, you got enough. You got enough stuff on the back here. You got Cairn, you got Mouse Ritter, you got Mark of the Odd, you got it's all stacked here. Because actually, the first thing I had from you was actually was Kerrigs and Cronogs, which is a Cairn supplement.
Oh yeah, I've got the one printed on gold paper. Yeah, this is my cool one. But
because I mean, anyone that touches this knows it's that sweet LFOSR paper from Leo there, number 1 and number 2.
Oh yeah.
So amazing. What pulls you to pull Mouse Ritter and Cairn?
Honestly, when I went back and reread it, I was getting kind of bored of 5e. and Old School Essentials seemed, yeah, I know, right? Old School Essentials is what I wanted to run, but I came to RPGs in like 2016 was when I first rolled the dice. And so I had no history of Old School, so it was just THACO and all that stuff was a little too much. And then I thought Mouse Ritter was so streamlined, found out it was based on Into the Odd, and I'm kind of one of those, I think I'm a completionist, so I was like, anything that's based on Into the Odd, I'm going to get it. I'm going to run it. I got a whole, I think they're on, yeah, that side, a bunch of Into the Odd games. I even wrote a supplement that you can pretty much be Doctor Who, jumping from Into the Odd game back and forth. So you can be a mouse one day, Knave and Cairn the other day, or a space fighting Muppet. Yeah. But I like it. It's simple. 3 stats. And honestly, I thought Bastards was Into the Odd hack when I first saw it. And I was like, oh, sweet. I'm going to add this to the collection. And that was really how I got into it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Into the Odd fan, so I respect the Into the Odd grind. And Bastards is not, it's not an Into the Odd hack, but there's some.
I mean,
there's some D&D flopping there,
I explained it to my group. I said it's Crunchy Cairn or Old School Essentials Light. It's somewhere in that weird middle.
Yeah, totally.
I like Crunchy Cairn with a little OSR twist on the top, or with a little OSE twist on the top. I think that's a good example of it, or a good explanation from it. And then John, did I spell your name wrong too? I think I did.
I didn't want to say it.
You did.
I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit.
The H.
I looked at it and
H.
I looked at it again and I was like, no. So obviously, we're just joking. You're one of the homies, huge friend of the show.
Massive friend of the show.
For those that remember how to spell your name correctly, the cool people that have you on that know what they're doing. And for those that haven't watched the previous episodes, first of all, watch the episodes. We went over Helm, and Helm was an absolutely fantastic game. We played Helm. We got our asses fucking handed to us. Talk about some of your games a little bit, because I do have a stack here because, completionist. I don't know what you mean, Matt. I have no idea what you're talking about for any of these things.
Exactly.
I had to literally hit John up and be like, hey, do you happen to have like one of these like super rare? He's like, yeah, I got one for you. He didn't sign it for me, but like, I got But just talk about some of the stuff that you've done a little bit here from Wild Blue Yonder to Setting Sun to Helm a little bit, and what eventually led you to Bastards and Bastardized Classics.
Oh, well, Bastards, I think, is just another step in like my journey through tabletop games. Like, I kind of just go where my fancy takes me. That's kind of how you live with ADHD. But but I don't know, like In the Light of the Setting Sun was just my like attempt to fill a hole that I saw in the community, that like I didn't see a good Western game like in the tabletop space, not like sort of this rules light sort of Western game. So that was my attempt at that. And then Wild Blue Yonder, I live near Appalachia. I've been in Appalachia all my life, and like I just wanted a like strong setting for Appalachia, for OSE. Like, Matt, you mentioned OSE. I didn't grow up old school either, but I don't know, something about OSE just clicked with me. And then Helm, I don't know, I just like guys swinging swords around. That's really it. like at the end of the day, fantasy for me is just a dude wearing plate mail bashing you with a mace over the head. Like, and that's I'm set, So
that's what's up.
I don't like to wax poetically about like design or like intent or anything like that. So really, it's just what I have fun with and what I want to do with this space.
Very cool. And I've personally gone through I've played a Tower Darkly. I've played one of your Bastards supplements, and yeah, it was, I'm a big fan. So
I'd love to
Yeah.
hear how that ended up too, by the way.
My players are sociopaths. That's how it ended up. They're sociopaths.
Oh yeah, they're a bastards group.
Yeah, they're a bastards group. They hired a guy who was a non-combatant and then convinced him to punch the who's at the top, the Duke at the top of the tower to death, which permanently
Yes,
scarred
absolutely.
that guy. And then they left him to die with a ghoul. So just typical bastard stuff, really.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, they were covered in cesspit gunk, and were monsters. So
You said they Shawshanked it, right?
they did. They Shawshank Redemption their way into the tower.
Nice.
Yeah, classic weirdos. Yeah, I'm ready to ask about what we're going to end up asking about. Ryan, do you have stuff that you want?
No, that's what I had. I really wanted to just chat a little bit about what led us to this wonderful moment now. You know? So go off, King.
The Bastardized Classics, a collection of revisits to old school classic modules, made and updated for Bastards. What led to this? As Brian would say, what was the impetus to this? I am super stoked on this project, obviously, and I've already gone through Vault of Doom or read through it. But what led y'all here?
Well, I think Matt approached me first about a collab. Is where it began, and initially, I knew I knew that I wanted it to be for Bastards. I knew that much. Just because I had been steeped in Bastards up to that point. I think A Tower Darkly is the first third-party adventure for Bastards. It's not the first third-party thing written for Bastards. I think Thrift Dancer has me with that.
Yeah, Incantations.
But I think it was the first adventure. Yeah, Incantations. But I knew I wanted the collab to be for Bastards. And initially, it was going to be a funnel adventure called In the Court of the Crimson King, which was originally for Helm, but I scrapped it because it was just a bit too gonzo for Helm. And then, I don't know, I think I was working on stuff for my home group. I think I was converting Keep on the Borderlands to Bastards. And I was just showing notes to Matt, and I think it just clicked with the two of us. Oh, we should probably do something like this for our collab.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. It was in the middle of that the Bastards jam, and we were all I don't know, John, you were putting out one or two a week. I was putting out one or two a week.
Yeah, you both put out a lot for that jam. I do remember watching both of y'all kind of just shell stuff out for it.
Yeah, and it was just I think you posted a picture to Twitter of the cover of what is it, Dungeons of Dread, and you'd written in with pen Bastardized, and I was like, that is so savage. We should just do those. Yes,
yep,
yes,
right here.
And so yeah, I guess the rest is kind of history. John hit me up. I said, oh, that's cool. Tomb of Horrors has that head with the mouth and the horns. Let me see if I can throw something together with some public domain art. Created this little cover right here and was like, this is cool. Could we do something like this? And I think initially we were just going to do the one. And then you're like, well, I'm kind of working on the other three. And I was like, let's do all three. And so I threw a bunch of covers at you. You threw some maps my way. And yeah, it kind of spiraled from there. Spiraled upward, right? Because it's a good thing.
I'm obviously super stoked for it. I think the art and the covers is the cover so fantastic.
Slaps real hard.
It really is a great way to pull people in real quickly. You're like, look how clean this cover art looks.
So,
Yeah.
what made you guys specifically want to do like S1, S2, S3, and S4 for this like batch here? Because you've done some other of the classics already, but why these four specifically for this project?
Um, I don't know, Matt, was there really any like
So
question?
yeah, so to be honest, before John showed me the cover of that Dungeons of Dread or the inside cover where he had written it, I'm that guy who didn't actually know what S2, S3, and S4 that they even existed. I'd seen Tomb of Horrors, but again, I had only ever seen the 5e conversion. And so I like got it and read it and was like, this is super sick. And John had suggested doing those four. And then like after I read White Plume Mountain, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Who puts a room with like a floating water that goes around and you have to kayak through rooms of a dungeon, but only to get ambushed and then escape? I was like, yes, I want this in every game. So yeah, there wasn't a question whether or not we should do those. I think it was just like, yes, these are the ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's a reason that they're like iconic and they've
The
like
classics.
yeah, the classics. And you know, it's like they were the first ones to do it. Like they were the OGs. Like Tomb of Horrors was the first death trap dungeon, I believe. But there is a reason that they've stuck around. They've got this mystique about them. You know, like people hear about Tomb of Horrors and they like get this like 1,000-yard stare on their face, you know, because they know.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Having their nom-style flashbacks to Tomb of Horrors.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you know, it was such a good idea too, because you know the other thing with what you're doing with the Bastardized Classics, is making different varieties of each of the zines that are coming out for it. So like Ball of Doom is a funnel, Peak of Woe is an adventure, I think Veil of Stars is an adventure, Cave of Fiends is a hex crawl that's coming out for it. So you're doing a lot of different styles of play for each different one, and like turning Vault of Doom into a funnel is such a good, like, just an amazing idea. When I first saw that, I was like, oh, that's literally fucking peanut butter and jelly. Like, that's exactly what it should be. What made you guys, did you guys actively choose to be like, okay, well, we want to do a funnel, an adventure, a hex crawl, a setting piece, like, we want to split up the variety? Or did it just like, these are the ones we want to do, and this is what it feels like it should be turned into?
John, take it away. Like from my end, it just felt like it naturally flowed that way. But John was the one who came up with this part of it.
It was mostly I guess it was mostly just wanting to cover all of our bases, you know, because we were already making Vault of Doom a funnel. So that's a type of adventure. And then White Plume Mountain is its own contained dungeon. So yeah, that's an adventure too. But like Expedition to the Barrier Peaks and the Lost Caverns of Sochcanth are so massive that I could not rightly call them just adventures by themselves. I think Expedition to the Barrier Peaks involves like 6 dungeon levels that are all like multiple miles wide, you know? So like that's just a setting right there.
Yeah.
That's like a countryside. And then Lost Caverns of Sochcanth, I thought about it and was like, it would be a lot easier just to make this a hex crawl, personally. So it was a no-brainer for me, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you guys already reimagined a couple of these. I think we touched on them a little bit. There is the I just got in the mail, I think yesterday, from Spear Witch, In Pursuit of What Is Hidden, which is the B1. Yeah, there we go. And then you also already did Bastion on the Frontier. So In Pursuit, is that is Mana Rant Map production, right? Is that it's all Matt?
Yeah, it's all Matt.
I think I was sitting in the office one day and I just was like sketching on a map. I texted it to John and was like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna try and do B1." And I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 days, and I slapped a map together, and then was inspired by both Micah and John, the way they write, and so like evocative and concise. I was like, I'm gonna try that. And it took a lot of headbanging because I'm not a good writer at all. Or at least this was a good practice that is helping me grow. But I think it turned out.
Yeah, it's great. It fit right in on the shelf with all the rest of the little books. Cover is fantastic. But Bastion on the Frontier, is that the first? Because the cover says Davis, Anderson, Morris, and I'm going to say it wrong. Damasceno.
Damasceno? I don't know. Yeah.
Never heard it said out loud.
Yeah, Alex is cool. That's what I know.
Yeah. There we go. Was that the first time that you guys actually put something out together as like a what will eventually be like the Morrison Davis Classics? That's the one that kind of like triggered it going forward.
Yeah, it was. I think John, you sent me a picture of the map that you had done, which is a beautiful layout in there. And I was like, "Oh, that's sick! I'm going to do it for my home game too." And then I remembered Alex had put out when he did Beyond the Borderlands, he put out like a little pocket mod for free on his itch page that was like a 2-sentence description of each room. And I was like, oh, that's perfect for a A6 size zine. So I reached out to him. He'd done some work with me before on Mouse Ritter. And I was like, hey, can we borrow this and change the stats just a little bit? And he's like, free reign, take it. You don't need to credit me. And I was like, well, that's crazy. I'm going to credit you. And then Micah had written something for the jam. It was Brigand's Rest, I think. And it felt like it fit in the little region. So I reached out to Micah and said, hey, could we just like reproduce this in there? And Micah was like, go for it. And so then I don't know. I think I started it December 23rd. My in-laws got in on December 24th, and I think we finished. And I put it up on itch on like December 27th. It was my little Christmas break project in the free time.
Nice.
There you go.
But it was the map. It was the map that did it all. I wouldn't have even thought about doing it without the map.
Yeah, it was almost a proof of concept, more or less, because I think we had already started like the Bastardized Classics had already like formed in our minds by that point.
Yeah.
And this was almost like, okay, let's maybe put this out and see if people actually like latch onto it. And it seems that like people really enjoy it. So that's good.
It's sold out at Spearwitch like in a couple hours, and Jared just received a package today with 30 more copies. So I don't know when they're going live on Spearwitch, but there will be more copies available.
Yeah, I think it's the month of bastards now. Every month.
Yeah.
What were you saying on it?
Nothing. I said I think it might be up right now on Spearwitch, but I could be wrong. So I have a tangential question. Because the first time I ever saw this term tweeted was actually by John. ASR, the after school, was it Renaissance or Revolution? I can't remember what it was.
I think, but I think the R is interchangeable personally.
Yeah. So
the rebellion, no.
So the after school rebellion, the after school Renaissance Revolution. So like, how is that? What is the distinction between that and like OSR, NSR?
I think everyone has their own take on it. But I think, it's rules light, but not trying to couch it in this like well-meaning, like I totally get why the NSR is a thing. I totally understand, but they kind of like have their noses upturned at like OSR as a term, It's like, oh, we're better because we're the NSR. We're the cool kids. And like, I think AR a reaction to that personally, because they're pretty interchangeable as far as their design ethoses go. Rules light games. Yeah, like Micah said in chat, at least the ASR's motto is "I believe in you." Like it trusts the reader to take what is given and make something out of it. We don't need like pages upon pages like in paragraphs explaining to you how you're supposed to use these rules, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I thought about it. I think, is it Chris from Loot the Room had wrote a blog post on it. And I hadn't even read that. I just heard John use it. I think I heard Micah use it, and I was like, yeah, that's it. And what it like brought to mind to me was like, if I was 14 going to school and I was waiting for the bus, I want something that I could just whip out of my pocket and like, hey, let's roll up a character in 30 seconds and let's play an adventure before the bus gets here. And if we ride the same bus, we're rolling dice on the leather seats of the bus. And so to me, it was just like something that I could imagine the kids from that TV show Recess, like just pull like a tiny little magazine out of their pocket and be like, we're playing D&D, but it's not 30 books and giant table with miniatures. So I don't know. That's just what my mind had.
Cool. Very
Yeah.
respectable.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the first time I saw it was actually Chris from Loot the Room. I think they even have it on like a T-shirt or something too. But I like the ethos behind it. We've talked about sometimes a little bit with the OSR and the NSR. I don't know if we've talked about it a ton on stream, but I've talked to people that have created stuff for both, and it's like, I mean, the OSR had a very like. I feel like it had a very good purpose and meaning when it came out, but there's this like weird dichotomy where it's like it's not really OSR if it's not just a BX like remake or something, and then there's other people that are like, well, it's OSR, but it's just modernized rule sets, and NSR is just like we're like the OSR but without like the white supremacy, and then then we have the ASR. So who gives? Like, it's whatever people want to call stuff in the future. It'll be interesting when ttrpg people in the future talk about the past and stuff, the post PBTAs and OSRs and NSRs and like all the rest of the stuff on what they actually talk about for this era. Regardless, so I think that what I find a lot of the core ethos of all of the R's tends to be is that 5e does not do a good way of writing adventures or playing games. So a lot of people wanted to go back to like, here's more of, I think it's more of that like I believe in you thing, or just like here's a world, do stuff in it, not the world revolves around you, is kind of where I find the core to be. The world's not balanced to you. You exist in a world that turns without you. So whatever people want to call that, that's how it kind of feels to me. I don't know if it feels the same to you guys.
For sure. And I will just say this, that post OSR, the POSR, that's the posers. That's poser is what they are.
Gotcha.
we're living it now. Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah.
OSR is now. Our time is now.
It's our time down here.
Yeah,
it's their time
it's
up
our
there.
time down here.
See, the Goonies lived the ASR aesthetic. That was them.
It's the most ASR thing ever.
Yes,
okay, so,
yes.
Listen, the Bastardized Classics, obviously already a smash hit that we're all in love with, and you're darlings of the indie ASR, NSR, OSR community. Like, future forward looking, like what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing next? Like, are you going to continue on this like exploration of like bastards and like bastard supplements, or like do you have other things coming out for your own like favorite systems? I mean, John, you have Helm, and Matt, you have everything apparently. You just like make content for everything. Like, what do y'all like see yourself doing forward looking?
Well, I've got a huge. We did a Mouse Ritter jam. I think it was back last year in May, and we put together a mega dungeon that's got like 300 something rooms in it. And we just slapped everyone's PDF. I gave like a PDF template. We slapped them all together. It looked really good. And there was like some movement of people like, "Hey, are we going to publish this, print this?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's a huge document." But I talked with Tony from Plus One EXP, and we've kind of worked out something. We're going to do a B5 size book. Reached out to Bruno Prosacco from Brazil. He's doing the cover artwork. shoot, there's a bunch of artists that have worked on some Mouse Rider stuff with me that are going to do art. And then I asked all the people who submitted to the jam, hey, send me all just like your plain text. I'll format it all so it looks like it's the same document. I think it's going to be like a 200-page Mouse Rider dungeon that could literally, with the amount of rooms, you could run probably 2 or 3 generations of mice through it before you got to the end of it. So it could be an entire 4 to 5 year long campaign in just one dungeon. So that's going to be first part of end of spring, first part of summer. But I'm planning to probably put out a Bastards thing once a month, as long as I can.
Hell yeah, cool. I look forward to being inundated with Bastards content. What about you, John?
Same thing. Gonna still be putting out Bastard stuff. I don't know about you, Matt, but I have my eye on Ravenloft next. After
I'm doing. I think I'm going to do Isle of Dread. So maybe we'll do Bastardized Classic 2.0. Ravenloft, Isle of Dread. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And then I'm actually going hard on We Deal in Lead after we're done with the Bastardized Classics.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't know, that's one game that I'm looking at that's just like, man, this really needs some content.
Yeah.
Like hard.
Such a good game.
Small little plug. I made a thing called We Deal in Pips, and it's a Mouse Ritter We Deal in Lead crossover. So you can be a mouse that goes through the void into like the Wild West, or you can be a gunslinger that ends up on another world that's like a mouse-sized world. So that's up on itch for free.
That's what's up. That's
I'm
awesome.
gonna go
You guys just don't stop. I did want to ask a little bit about the Bastard stuff too, and about the Bastards Classic. One of the things we do judge here or rate or whatever review on the show is the art and style of zines. So with that, you have great artists associated with the project. You have Hodag. How did you just reach out and be like, hey, like your stuff is like the perfect vibe for what we're doing, we'd love to do some pieces, or what got him or
Great
them
piece.
tied onto the project with you?
I guess I'll talk. I'm the one communicating with Hodag, and like I had worked with them previously a couple times, done a couple classes for OSC that used Hodag's art, and they're just a joy to work with. Like absolutely, like Hodag, say what you will about them, they're not in it for the money. Like really, they're just happy to have their artwork featured in something, and I'm happy to like pay them whatever they ask for their art because it just kicks so much ass like every time. Like that aesthetic of theirs, like I thought fit perfectly with the Bastardized Class, especially Vault of Doom. Like they killed it with those spreads.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And kind of sticking with the art theme here a little bit too. We all love Bastards. We're playing Betrickian here on the stream. Hunter has a Bastards group. You guys have put out 1 or 2 things for it. But to kind of dig a little deeper into why Bastards. Like when you guys first started playing it, is it the system mostly that grabbed you into Bastards because it's light and modern and stuff like that, or why specifically were you like, fuck, this is such a good game, I really want to pick it up and write content for it?
I think for me, a simple dungeon, I saw that. I was like, that's cool. I didn't even know Bastards was a thing when I saw that dungeon. So I downloaded it. It just kind of sat. I was like, I need a quick little one-shot dungeon. I ran it and it was like for Bastards. I was like, I don't know what that is. So I found Bastards. I thought it was sick. But I was so steeped. I think my Mouse Rider campaign just finished up 72 sessions. And we switched to Bastards. But I'd written the majority of the Bastards stuff I've published before ever even playing Bastards. And so like now that I've played it, some of them I'm like, oh man, I used way too many D8s. We don't use those in Bastards. No, I think it was how Micah has such an aesthetic about them. Like it's so clean, it's so concise. For whatever reason, it just spoke to me. It was like, this is what I want. And so I think it was the random adventure generator jam that Loot the Room did, and so I did a Blade in the Burning Peak. It's like a little 6-page dungeon, but I was like, I really like this style, and then John was putting out a Sea of Glass, and I was like, I want to try and come back to this, but then shelved it, and then Micah put the jam out, and I was like, now's the time. I got to catch up to John because I think John posted like 3 or 4 things right away. You were doing the manor, and
oh yeah, the manor.
I was like, this is so cool. And then you were posting screenshots of your layout. I was like, gosh darn it, I want to do that. Yeah.
Coming back to the manor has not been abandoned. It's been a while for an update.
Yes.
But yeah, Bastards is, I think, what I thought D&D before ever playing D&D.
Yes.
Like, I've talked about this story before. My first introduction to what role-playing games were was the episode of Dexter Laboratory where they're playing like the weird like amalgam of D&D, you know? And I don't know, it's just this like this weird esoteric like enigma of a game where you have to figure out how it works as you're playing it. I love that. I love a game that's a puzzle.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, like the best thing about Bastards is just like in the moment you're like, okay, well, this is just how this is gonna work. We're deciding right now. It's like we just talked about this. Like, well, I didn't even know if that was on stream before. But Mike is like, yeah, I don't know. Let's just go ahead and house rule that.
Yeah, exactly. Because what was it? One of my players, like, they fought an owlbear, and they were just like, are there any eggs? I want an owlbear egg. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know. Spend all of your points of luck, I guess, for there to be an owlbear egg. And
that's so cool.
They found one, and they're trying to like figure out how they're trying to find information about how to like have a pet owlbear. And I'm just like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to figure out
that's so cool
how to mechanically do this.
It's fun, like it gives you the chance as a GM to play the game as much as like they're playing the game. Like I play, like, dude, I run so many games through so many years, and I've played more playing Bastards than I think I have in like most systems over time.
Yep, absolutely.
That's the thing that I think really made me switch over from 5e was I love world building. I love like imagining, like Tolkien is my hero. When it like the Silmarillion, I read it once a year because I'm just weird.
I respect that.
What I loved about Mouse Ritter was I was like, I'm not even gonna prep. Like I've got the idea of the world, but as the game master, like everything is random tables. And so like for me, I get just as much excitement as the players because I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. Let's find out. Roll the dice. And when that happens, like I think Micah, when they were on stream, episode 2 of Betraking Swamps, you said it was like, oh, I don't have a fortress in this hex. Keep talking. I'm going to roll one up real quick. I was like, that is the epitome of amazing game master. And also that's the game I want to play because I love to be a player, but I love to also facilitate. And so, yeah, I think Bastards does that so perfectly.
Yeah, you fucking hear that, Micah? We love you. So
yeah,
fuck you, Micah.
Kiss you on the mouth.
Yeah, that's the thing. The system-wise, it's just a great, clean system. Exactly, you guys are talking about, but layout-wise, because the first thing I really saw that was additional content, because Thrift of Mantra obviously did an amazing book too, but A Tower Darkly blew me away. First of all, the green and purple together was just like super evocative, but a simple dungeon, when I first pulled that out too, like it's such a fucking awesome layout, and then the way that like the little hexes and things are, like it was so good. And then when you see something like A Tower Darkly capture it and then do its own thing with it, and then now there's like plethora of things that went with it, it's really interesting. I'm curious if the layout was different, if it was just like black and white text and like columns and stuff like that, if as much stuff like if we would have the Bastardized Classics or something like that, because the layout itself is so evocative and it's so much his style. It's just interesting to think about sometimes how much not only the style of the game but the game itself has influenced the people that are creating content for it. So
yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because I was pretty active and still am pretty active in the Cairn Discord. Yohai is super cool. Like when I first got into doing stuff for Mouseprinter, like Yohai reached out. It was like, hey, I can help you edit a couple things. I was like, that's super cool. Like in my mind, I was like, you're the creator of Cairn and you're reaching out to me. I was like, whoa. And so like Yohai and I've gone back and forth a whole bunch. And in that Discord, like there's Cairn conversions for a bunch of classics, and I really wanted to do it, but I felt, and I love Cairn, and like I will always love Cairn, but it was so hard for me because I wanted it to be perfect. And I think Bastards lets you not let it, like it doesn't have to be perfect because you just do it. So I feel like I have more freedom with Bastards than I did with Cairn. And then playing it, I was like, yeah, no joke. I'm just going to do this forever now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not going to get into 5th edition and why it sucks, but I really like, I actually started with 5e. No,
Y'all
I mean,
first episode ever.
I actually I'm in a 5th edition game directly following this stream. I still play it. I don't run it. I still play it. I have a great time with my friends.
Here's the thing. I had a similar, somewhat, I guess, transition as you have done. And it's good to hear someone who decided to try something different and then latch on and be like, wow, like I just like, whether, it's fine if people still like 5th edition. It's fine. Do your thing. But it's nice that, I started with 5e. I went super hard on it. And then I just, for the same reasons, was just like, I just want to, like, this is not scratching the itch for me anymore. Like, I want to do something a little bit different. For you to say the same thing, kind of, where you're just like, I was running it, but I wanted this, then you found Mouser, then you found Bastards. It's nice when you actually, because so much of the discourse out there is play another game. It's nice when you actually meet someone who not only has played another game, but like has latched on to these other games and created so much amazing content for it. Do you feel like you're starting with 5th edition and being introduced to this system that is so polar opposite to so much of you do now? Like, do you feel like that made you latch on more to things like Massacre and Bastards and change it? Or was it more just like trying to fill like the holes and gaps that 5e wasn't really like giving you anymore?
I think for me, it was not so much the filling in the gaps. I just really wanted to world build. And I felt like 5e put me in such a box that I had to be like, okay, there's some sort of system for how to like test the dirt to see if I was just like, why are there so many formulas and systems and everything? And so when I found something that was like, no, random is cool. Yeah, that was the breakaway for me. I wasn't told by the overlord, you have to do it this way. And I think Dungeon Craft, the YouTube channel, was always like, you shouldn't have to roll a dice to see if you can hit someone with a mutton leg. I mean, or have the ball, like the bartender brawler feat or whatever. I'm just like, what is all this stuff? I just want to play. I don't want to like study.
Yeah, you want the rules to get out of the way of you having fun. Which, like, yeah, I mean, there's like several games that I played over time where like they were really trying to achieve that concept. Like early, like years and years ago, I'm thinking of like Cypher System, which was Monty Cook, which is way less rules than D&D and very much tries to get out of your way. And it's funny, like from 5e, I went to Cypher, and then from Cypher, I found my way into like kind of the OSR, NSR, ASR, PBPTA scene. And yeah, I think that's like Bastards is such a great, like, yeah, you fucking just figure it out. It's fine. Like, you don't have to know. You don't have to go in knowing. Like, this can be a completely random experience. And like, yeah, you can fucking decide you're gonna roll up a fortress that we don't even get to in that episode.
Yeah. Hey, we glimpsed it. We saw it. That's the thing too. It's just like, 5e. There's a whole page in the beginning that says, these are just rules, do whatever you want, but then has like 200 pages of like very specific rules and someone on Twitter telling you exactly how to run it all the time, you know. And like the way a game is written, is it's kind of like do as I say, not as I do, you know what I mean? Like the way a game is written is going to encourage the way that the game is going to be played, regardless of if you put like a one-line disclaimer in the beginning, right? So like no matter how much you say, oh, just do whatever you want in 5th edition, it's still going to be 5th edition or Cypher or whatever the game is, you know. And there's a lot of OSR games that try to like get out of the way, but one of the things I really love most about Bastards is that there is that disclaimer, like do whatever you want, I believe in you, but the rules just get out of the way to the point where, like we've talked about it, Mike will literally just be like, I don't remember, just do this. Like it doesn't matter. Like, you know, there is enough of a structure there that whatever you decide to do, you can just keep moving forward. And games that are it's at least where I'm at, you know, in my tabletop stuff. I don't want to sit and read a 600-page book. I will for the stream. I'm not going to run it. You know, so Bastards feels like the perfect
we
game.
don't read 600-page books on the stream, everybody. We move all past that. We're never going back.
We got one or two we got to like kind of flip through, but yeah, but like, you know, that's, I mean, and that's what it kind of feels like the consensus here amongst the group is exactly a system that gets out of the way, and a style that really like encourages this amazing content that you guys are doing. So it's absolutely fantastic to see. I'm really excited for what goes forward. I hope there's more Davis and Morris stuff. And you know, and Vault of Doom is out right now. You know, it's itch funding right now. Is there a chance it's getting into?
Yeah, so the order was placed earlier this week for a print run, and Jared at Spearwitch has already told me how many they want, and we're expecting it to sell out. And so, yeah, hopefully soon. I think it ships from Mixum's warehouse on the 23rd, so that's this week. And so, yeah, that's pretty cool. And it should be arriving pretty close to the time my brother-in-law does some dungeon synth in his free time, and he is going to be sending me audio files of an accompanying soundtrack to go along the game, specifically tailored to Vault of Doom, one that's going to be tailored to Vault of or Peak of Woe, and then in the future Veil of Stars and Cave of Fiends. So there's going to be a whole playlist. I think Micah put it on the Bastards page. This game is meant to be played with this kind of music, and so we've got custom Davis and Morris themed dungeon synth.
Fuck yeah!
Sick.
Is there any possibility sometime in the future of you know, maybe some tapes that I can keep collecting for a tape player I don't have yet?
Ooh, yeah. That would be cool. John and I kind of tossed the idea around about in the summer, maybe like doing a deluxe release of all 4 of them. My other brother-in-law is currently, I wish I had the pictures to show you guys. It's in the mail right now, but it is a Dungeon Master screen for Bastards. But it is hollowed so that when it folds, it'll hold a total of, I think, 14 A6, about this size, in it. It clasps and everything. And so maybe have him make a box and get some cassettes. We could do something kind of cool. No promises, but the content wall.
So you're talking now to the 2 people that like would actually just be guaranteed to buy it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, if ever it becomes a thing.
Well, if one shows up on your doorstep, just, you never know. We might just say, "Hey, we love you guys."
There you go. We appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, listen, I can't tell you how excited I am for this. Every aspect of it. I mean, you guys just make amazing content. John, you've come on the show and killed us. I'm never going to not say that. But, you know, Helma's amazing. All the stuff that you've created, you know, it's just, it's really awesome to, in this space, find a creator who makes amazing stuff, get to meet that creator and find out they're just as much of an amazing person, and then just be able to be a fan of a friend for a long time. And that's one of my favorite things about this show that we found. And, you know, Matt, this is our first time meeting you, but you seem like an awesome guy. You know, I got a bunch of stuff. I'm super excited to get more of it going forward. So
Well, hey, if you ever want to play a mouse that gets killed by a blue jay, I know a guy who runs Mouse Ritter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually 100% do want to do that. I still have never played Mouse Ritter.
Same.
And I grew up reading the Redwall series, so
Yes.
I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
fucking listen. I'm super down to be a mouse.
All right, it's gonna happen.
Kind of tangent, I hope that you both keep working together because I'm so far enjoying the content you guys are like. I think it's a very great team up. But I would love to see you guys make something for Helm.
Yeah.
Because I really do like Helm, and I think it's like a really interesting combat system that I would love to revisit.
Helm will come back with a vengeance. I swear it. And if Matt's down, I'm down. So
oh yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah,
be a little more gritty and a little more realism. So
you'll have to come back on. We'll have to try to survive this time and see what happens. It's interesting too because after you killed us in 17th Century Minimalist, we had to go review 17th Century Minimalist. So that triggered that episode, which was really, really fun. It's a great little system. I'm glad that you I hadn't even heard of it until you introduced us to the adventure packs for that, and then of course I had to go try to find a very expensive copy somewhere, and now I own it. So you
finally found it.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah,
dude, I've been searching. Andre is so cool. Like the dudes at Games Omnivorous. That game is awesome, and I've never been able to find a copy. It's always sold
listen,
out.
if there's a single one in the world that is for sale, Ryan will find it. So.
Did you get the adventure collection along with it?
Oh, I did. Yeah, absolutely.
That folder and everything. Oh, it's so pretty.
It's great. Yeah. So, that was one of the great things to come out of Helm, except besides, RTPK, which it was amazing. I can't even that was such a fun experience to just absolutely get our ass kicked. And the system itself was so much fun to run. Like, I want to play it again, even just for like, I will succeed this time, kind of thing. So it's great. We've said it a bunch now. Like, so excited for both of you guys' content to keep coming out and keep dropping, and very very stoked to play it. Both of you guys are open invite anytime you fucking want to come on and run anything. So just shoot us a message.
I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to.
Be awesome. If John runs Vault of Doom, can I get killed in it? Can I come on and just play as a bastard that dies?
Absolutely.
I'll just make you an NPC and ensure that you're killed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, we could figure something. We'll switch it up to like a 4-player one, and John can just murder 4 people this time instead of 3. So
nice.
Sick.
Highest kill count on the stream right now is John Davis. We'll just continue.
I know. It's crazy
up.
with how absolutely suicidal I play every tabletop game ever that no one's been successful yet. I'm like, man, I went after a vampire with my bare hands.
Oh.
It's
I
funny
defeated
because
it with a rock. So.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm actually kind of a teddy bear when it comes to my home games. I don't kill people, like, period. Like, almost never. And then I guess that was just a fluke or something. Because
I get it. Listen, I don't kill my players; they kill themselves.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So these are out right now. Obviously, it's still technically itch funding, right? But you've passed your itch funding goal. Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then that's pretty much just going to keep funding like the later bastard stuff too, right? Like, it's all just going to pay itself forward. But
I was going to say, what it's going to do. We've got more artists that were like, this is super dope. I've got a similar aesthetic. Maybe I could slap a piece in there. Perplexing Ruins has really got the bastard itch and is producing stuff and reached out to me and was like, hey, I know you're doing more down the road. Would you be okay if I did something for it? And I was like, yeah. And reached out to John. John was like, yeah, for sure. Why not?
Moss Driftwood's in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm
it's up
excited to
there.
get mine. I know you said you got yours already, so I assume mine will come
Yeah.
tomorrow, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But where can people get this now? Because you said Vault of Doom is coming to Spear Witch. But where can people get the digital copy of that right now?
That is at. Let me pull up the link.
No creator
That
knows
is,
what their itch address
It's
is.
so consistently true. No creator knows their own itch.
I had it right in front of me, and then I switched to a different tab, so now I have to go through 6 pages to get back to it. But no, it's civadsanctum.itch.io/bastardized classics.
And,
Yeah.
and that's where and the Civid Sanctum, it's the logo next to me. It's funny because I'm an idiot, because I remember on the first time we had you on the show, I was like, where did Civid Sanctum come from? And it's just my last name backwards, and I was like, oh my gosh. So
Whoa.
So did that
I
just
did
click
not.
for you too?
It just clicked. I was like, what?
I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
yes.
it's like, is it some like cool character from one of your things? Because I think in the actual true crypt, you reference Civid the Seer, and I was like, I gotta know more, but I don't know how to ask. It's just your net. Come on, that's awesome.
Well, yeah, I do the classic thing of if you need a wizard, just spell your name backwards. You know?
Bet.
I love it.
And then Mana Ramp Matt, Hunter references the beginning of the stream, but I didn't really know what is Mana. Where did Mana Ramp Matt come from?
Yeah, I used to play Magic the Gathering, and I really love it. Kind of stopped playing it when COVID hit, but I was making proxies for Commander in like Cube, which are just two different formats for Magic the Gathering, and my friends were like, hey, you need to like come up with a name, and I was like, I play green cards, they Mana Ramp, I'm Mana Ramp Matt Productions. And then when I did my first RPG thing, I was like, everyone else has a company name, I'm going to use that one. It has nothing to do with RPGs. It actually is kind of confusing potentially, and so I'm getting an overhaul currently being worked on. I think
Nice.
Tony made a post a year or two ago about like rebranding and how important that is. And so I'm officially rebranding, and it's going to be way
There you
cooler.
go.
Cool.
But yeah,
Well,
we're
listen,
excited to see that.
I used to play Magic the Gathering. I still do, but I used to as well.
Yeah.
So I respect that.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. So we found we all just like him. So John, we on Civid Sanctum here. You can find all the Bastard stuff on Spearwitch. Matt, where can we find all of your content? Mouse Ritter and Bastards and like all the stuff you've done.
Yeah, so I'm on itch at manarampmatt.itch.io. I've got all my Bastard stuff, all my Mouse Ritter stuff. Did an official adventure for Liminal Horror. It's up there. That was a super cool little group we got together. And also, I think there's a link on my itch to a Big Bastards bundle that you can buy the bundle, get everything John and I have made pretty much for Bastards, and also help support Vault of Doom. And so that one exploded, which was cool.
Yeah, just get the bundle. It's a much better deal. Like you'll get so much more content, and you'll also be supporting the Bastardized Classics. So just get the bundle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I got the bundle.
I definitely had like almost everything, but like I got the bundle anyway because you have like your solo rules and stuff in there too, right? Is that in the bundle? Or is that separate?
No, I think I added the solo. I can't remember if I added the solo rules to it. I made a Dungeon Master screen, and it came with like 2 little supplements. Micah said, "Yeah, just take the text, slap it in there." I think I put that in there. I should throw the solo rules in there though if they're not. They're free on my itch page, so I can just add them. But they're in print, and Spearwitch is gonna pick those up in about a week or two. So
Amazing.
I constantly try to save money, and then like every other week, Jared's just like, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. I'm like, can you just like keep all of them till the end of the month so I can buy 4 at one time and pay shipping once, because I can't not buy it the second I get the email. But here we are.
Here's a wedding recipe book
into my home. Yeah. Don't even get me started. Yeah, about
it's right up there
book.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, anyway, guys, it's been so amazing having both you guys on. Seriously, please come back anytime. Kill us or not. Either way, we'd love to see both of you again. Very excited for all of these classics to drop for the rest of the year. Yeah, really, really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Always
coming
a
on.
pleasure to be back. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to have both of you on.
It's been a lot of fun.
So this is the Weekly Scroll Podcast. You can find us at the Adventure Archive or on Twitter at weekly_scroll. I'm just going to stop talking about the IG until I actually update it. So don't worry about that.
We have an Instagram. Good luck.
Hey, I used to be really good at it, and then the spoons just they just fell out of the drawer. So that's us. That's the show. This is Matt Morrison, John Davis with the Bastardized Classics. I'm Ryan. That's Hunter, and we will see you sometime in the future for something else. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.